Okay, so Lab 3 for our access security. This is going to be our first lab in week 2. I'm already at the login page for our VLAB. Again, pay attention to the requirements, what screenshots are there, and do not forget to answer the questions at the very end. Once we're ready to go, we're going to go and access our VLAB. Again, the initialization does take a few minutes. Okay, so while this is loading, I wanted to bring up the scenario. Make sure that you read through the scenario so you understand kind of why we're doing it. I'm using Chrome today, so again, pay attention to the pop-ups. Allow the correct Java plugins to run. In Firefox, we keep getting the run boxes. Here you actually have to right-click and allow. And for some reason, I've had to, once I allow it, to re-access it. If I don't in Chrome, then it just doesn't load all the way. I have noticed that Chrome does take a little longer to log in. Not that it doesn't work, it's not always the fastest. Okay, so once we are in, we should have our normal desktop that we see. We're going to be navigating to our server farm RDP folder. We're actually going to be opening up our target Windows 1 machine. Okay, remember when we connect to this, about the password concern, you have to use caps lock, type in your password. It's capital S, capital I, capital S, capital S, the number 316. Capital S ECURITY. We're not logging into the base lab VM. Other user. We're logging into corp/administrator. Again, caps lock, capital I, capital S, 316, capital S. Turn off caps lock. ECURITY, and it will let you in. If you try doing shift doesn't always work. Again, close any of the pop-ups that may pop up, and go ahead and navigate to computer. Start computer. So once computer is brought up, we're going to go ahead and expand out C drive. We are creating a new folder, and we're calling it your last name. I'm doing student. So once you have our new student, we're going to be creating 3 subfolders. Part of our scenario is we have a networking program. We have a security program. And we have a programming program. Notice how I held shift down for the first of each one, and shift only took one of them. So once we have each of those, we're going to go to the first folder. I went to networking. We're going to allow 3 additional subfolders for assignments, for faculty notes, and for lecture notes. we're going to duplicate this for all three of them. So I'm just going to highlight them, copy them, go to each one and paste them. That way I can make sure that each one of these folders has all three of our subfolders. Okay, so I messed that one up, so I'm going to go back to networking. These are actually supposed to be an additional subfolder, so we have to create individual course folders first. So this is networking 101, networking 102. Our assignments, faculty notes, and lecture notes are supposed to be in each of our courses. So again, we have our courses underneath each program folder, and they should have all of our subfolders. Do the same thing for programming. We have programming 101, we have programming 102, and make sure to copy all of our correct subfolders into them. It does not like copying right now. Copying. Paste. Okay, so that we, again, each one will have all three folders. I'm going to go to security to finish the last two. Security 101, security 102, and I'm just going to drag those in there. Again, double check to make sure both Sec 101 and Sec 102 all have the appropriate subfolders. So once we do that, we're going to go ahead and navigate to Pro 102. So that should be under Programming, and that's the Advanced Programming class. We're going to be taking a screenshot of this just to show that we are here. And once we've got to that point, I'm going to navigate all the way back to Student, and we're done with that section of the lab. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and open up Active Directory, Users and Computers. So again, Start, Administrative Tools, Active Directory, Users and Computers. It may be there for you. It may not. So once Active Directory opens up, we're going to be expanding out our domain. This should be the view that you get by default. So go ahead and double click on our domain, find students, and once you see students, verify that you have all three users. And once you see all three users, we're going to be creating a group for students. You can right click, new, group. You can also just click on the group button up here. Does not matter. We are calling our group students. We are leaving it as a security group type. We're leaving it as a global scope and clicking OK. Now that we have our students, we're actually going to add our three students in. You can add them individually by clicking on each user and adding them to the group, or we can do it from the group itself. So I'm going to double click on our group, open up its properties, and we're going to select members. We're going to add in our three members. Mark. Check name. Richard. Check name. Sue. Check name. And again, we should have all 3 users there. Click OK. And verify they are the 3. They are. Click apply. And we've now added our 3 users to our student group. So once we've done that for student, we're going to do the same thing for faculty. Again, notice all 3. I'm going to add in another group. I'm going to call them faculty. Again, leaving it a global scope and security group type. This time I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to highlight all the ones I want to add. I'm going to right click and add to group. I want to add to the group faculty. I'm going to check the name and it shows valid. Click apply. Either works. If you want to verify that they were added to faculty, double click on faculty, go to members, and you should see all your members. Again, either way works, it's just what works best for you in any given situation. Okay, so once we created our 2 groups, faculty and students, go ahead and exit out. And now we're actually going to start manipulating our folder permissions. We're going to allow people, both faculty and students, to be able to do only very specific tasks. So the first one we're looking at is Programming 102, and let's look at the properties for assignments. So click on Assignments, right click, Properties. Once you're there, go ahead and select Security and Review. The lab does say click on the Learn About Access Control Permissions, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Review all of them. The one that I'm most caring about is our permissions. The auditing and owner tabs aren't overly important right this second, but these are all important to go through. Once you've read through them, go ahead and just exit out of them. So when we are ready, go ahead and click on the Advanced button. Okay, so once we actually load our advanced settings up, we're going to review them. Once we go through each of them and see what permissions that they have, we actually want to change these permissions. So change permissions. We want to verify that replace all children object permissions with inherited ones is unchecked. We do not want the inherent permissions to go all the way down. So we're going to uncheck the include inherited permissions from the object's parents. Will get a security warning message saying, do we want to add all of the current 5 settings? If we had more, they would actually add all of them. We could remove them or we could cancel. We want to go ahead and add them because we're going to go ahead and edit them. So how we're going to do this is we'll be removing both of the user items. That way only it has system and administrators and the creator's owner that are still there. We'll be adding in our faculty, so add. And we're giving our faculty full control. Our lab document doesn't say to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and select apply their permissions to objects and or containers within this container only. That way, anything within this container, including the container itself, gets these selected permissions. We're also going to add in students. And we are actually going to be a lot more limited what we give them. We're going to be them the ability to list folders and read data. And that's the only permission that they're going to have. Again, I'm going to apply the permissions to all subfolders. Click Apply. Once you verify both students and faculty are there, go ahead and click OK. Click OK. And click OK. So once we've completed that for our assignments, we're going to do the same thing for our Security 102 class. So I'm navigating back to the Security folder, Sec 102, and we're going to do the same steps for their assignments. Again, right-click Properties, go to Security, we're going to Advanced, verify all of them are there, we're changing the permissions, we are dropping both of the users. We can't do that until we uncheck Include Inherited Permissions. We want to add them so that they add in all 5 accounts. Once they're all added in, we're removing both the users. We're adding in faculty. Check name. We're giving them full control, and again applying these permissions. We're going to add in students. Again, check name. And we're only giving them the ability to list folders and applying. That way, faculty control the folders, students can read from the folder when they are shared. And I'm just going to click OK and click OK. So once you've completed that, that is all for this lab. Thank you.